Hello and welcome to Daily Covfefe on Unsafe Space with Carter and Carrie. Today is Tuesday, July 30th. You can, all the stuff Carter says, do that, subscribe, hit like, share the video with your friends.
By the way, Carrie, I don't know if you've paid attention to this. After yesterday, I complained that our subscriber count was growing too low, or too slowly. I can't even say it today. Yesterday's video took off. I mean, for us, it was a lot of hits, and we got a lot of new subscribers. We're at almost 920 now, so we're close to being 80 more, roughly, and we're demonetized or monetized.
Woo! Yay! What happened? Somebody must have not liked our video and posted it somewhere.
I don't know. I posted a clip I posted a link in response to Elijah Cummings on his Twitter feed, but I would have think that we would have got a lot of haters for that, not a lot of, maybe there were a lot of haters lurking.
I don't know, actually. It's mostly whenever some representative says something dumb, I've noticed that in the comments, like that time you said Eric Swalwell, all the comments made you happy.
Yes.
All the comments were just
ratioed. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They get ratioed. So who knows?
Well, whatever happened, thank you all. If you're new to the show, we do this Daily Covfefe every morning, and sometimes it's better than other times. Sometimes we're long, sometimes we're short.
We try to keep it short and sweet.
Casual. We also do interviews. There's a lot of other content, and we have a weekly show called The Program. So check out the webpage and welcome. We also correct errors when we find them, and these are small, but I just want to call them out yesterday. You and I casually kind of said that Cummings was down at the border, I think was the language we used, criticizing stuff. I don't think he's actually visited the border. Someone pointed out. He's just in Washington criticizing the border stuff, but he hasn't gone to the border. If someone knows otherwise, please tell us. Also, I complained about the Baltimore Sun looking like they had updated a story without telling us. And someone pointed out it could have been automated. There could have been a way to have like automated links inserted. So that's possible. I did look at the Baltimore Sun's.
I think that person's right. I should have said that yesterday. I just didn't think it was important. They automatically will put links into news stories based on keywords sometimes.
Yeah, and it's in a div that's data type equals interstitial link, which makes it look like it's kind of probably an automated section. So maybe it wasn't updated. So, but Carrie, I know you don't know what the subject is today. It's light. It should be pretty fun and fast.
Okay.
But it will also piss you off.
Oh, no.
Did you see, I know you like the Babylon Bee, as do I.
They're hilarious.
But the Babylon Bee is consistently way better than the Onion ever was.
It makes sense. Well, the Onion used to be good, but
the Onion used to be good. It's gotten worse.
The Babylon Bee culture shifted. And so the Babylon Bee is a satirical site, but it's run by Christians. And so they're not afraid of they poke fun at the Christians too. They poke fun at everyone. And they're not afraid of poking fun at the PC left. And the Onion won't do that as often anymore. And so that makes them culturally relevant at this particular time in history. And that also makes them edgier and funnier at this particular time in history because yes, they're counterculture.
Yeah, but I was thinking even back when I read The Onion a lot, like back in the early 2000s, they weren't this consistently good. I think Babylon Bee is more consistently funny. But The Onion used to be much better. I agree. Anyway, many of you might have seen this yesterday. It popped up on Twitter from the Babylon Bee. I don't know if I'll read the whole thing, but I'm going to read the salient points here. It says, readers of the Bee, we apologize for the length of this note, but wanted to bring something important to your attention. Last week, Snopes fact-checked us again. So we're pretty used to this, blah, blah, blah. They talk about how Snopes is fact-checking them, but the point that they're making here is that, so they've retained actually legal counsel on this. The problem is, let me read this part. As you know, fake news, which is distinguished from satire by its intent to mislead, was widely considered a serious issue in the last election cycle. As a result, social media networks like Facebook began partnering with fact checkers to try and limit the distribution of fake news on their platforms. Snopes was one of them. At one point, a piece of ours was rated false by Snopes, prompting Facebook to threaten us with limitations and demonetization. And so they complained to Facebook, and that went away. However, it's a real issue, because if Facebook attacks attacks Babylon Bee because of Snopes.
So Snopes is not unbiased. That's obvious to anyone who looks at their, and I know someone who used to work for Snopes, and take a look at her Twitter feed and for a second, it tells you a little bit about her ideology. Not that she's the worst that I've seen in terms of journalists, but she definitely has a point of view, and the people who write their pieces and their editors have a point of view, and it comes through in their pieces. And so to pretend like they're just non-biased fact checkers is kind of naive, purposefully naive.
Yeah, so I looked into this a little bit, Carrie. Can I show you some? Let me show you some examples of them fact checking first. You'll love this. So this is the recent one. This is a Babylon Bee article. Georgia lawmaker claims Chick-fil-A employee told her to go back to her country. He actually said, "My pleasure." So obviously making fun of Representative Thomas, who
lied and said that.
Right. So here's Snopes' report. False. Georgia lawmaker named Chick-fil-A employee told her to go back to her country. False.
This is almost funnier than the piece. Do they really think that okay, so they write for a leftist audience. And I say this because I'm on the left, and hey, I used to constantly just send Snopes links to my relatives, all my right-wing relatives, like read Snopes. So do they think their left-wing audience is that dumb that they need to be told this is satire? They can't tell what satire is?
Apparently. So there's some other examples though you'll like. So
okay, real quick. This reminds me of, do you remember, was it the Conservative Millennial did a parody video making fun of
AOC.
and of AOC, and it was obviously parody. It was just like any fake interview from the Daily Show, where they'd clearly taken clips of an interview with AOC and cut it together with her, like, you know, smirking and asking questions, and people were saying fake news, and it's like, that's parody. It's satire.
Right.
Are you guys that? But there were really people who couldn't tell.
Right.
Okay. Right. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, that's okay. So here's another one. This is another Babylon Bee article. Ocasio-Cortez appears on The Price is Right, guesses everything is free. Funny.
Kind of funny.
I think it's funny.
Not as funny as the other one.
Snopes, did she appear on the False. Okay. Thank you, Dwight. All right. Now, this is the next one I'm going to show you, Carrie, actually gets to the heart of the problem. Adam Ford shows this is a notification that Facebook showed him. A page you admin, Babylon Bee, so he's the admin of Babylon Bee, recently posted the link, CNN purchases industrial-sized washing machine to spin news before publication, which is this link here. Also funny.
That is hilarious. I remember that one.
Yep. That contains info disputed by an independent fact checker, which is Snopes. Repeat offenders will see their distribution reduced and their ability to monetize and advertise removed. So they're going after Babylon Bee. Now, obviously, Babylon Bee has an ideology that Snopes doesn't like. Or not, I won't even say ideology, has a opinion Snopes doesn't like.
Well, it has an opinion and they're effective. So satire, as you and I know, comedy can be very effective at changing minds, but also making fun of the elitists, right? Like think of the court jester and the king, you know, poking fun at the emperor who has no clothes.
Yep.
And that's what they're doing. They're very effective.
Yeah, they're hilarious. And look, I'm an atheist anarchist. I think they're hilarious. So it's not only funny for Christians, it's just funny. And they poke a lot of fun at a lot of things, and they go after a lot of sacred cows. But Snopes' argument here, just so let's give Snopes their due. Let's try and be fair at least. Snopes, their argument is, yes, it's satire. However, when a lot of people start believing it, we feel like we need to fact check because it will be confused as real and it will confuse real stories and blah, blah, blah. Now, that made me wonder, Carrie, has Snopes fact-checked Trump calling the white nationalists very fine people? Have they fact-checked?
Which we know is false.
Right? Have they fact-checked Trump making fun of the disabled reporter? And have they fact-checked?
Which we know is false.
Right? And have they fact-checked Trump
calling all Mexicans rapists? Which we know is false.
Yes. So let's take a look, Carrie. So I did a Google search. I actually used Google intentionally because Google is on Snopes' side. So I figure I'll get more Snopes content. So they do not have any fact check about Trump and Mexican rapists, but they do have a story about it in which they say that Trump said that Mexican immigrants were bringing crime and were rapists, and said they were very fine people on both sides after violence at the white supremacist rally. So they don't bother to fact check these things, but they do have an article that they produced from I think they just reprinted this from the AP, but they've got on the Snopes site this article from the Associated Press with these false things in it, but Snopes doesn't bother to fact check. Also, they have this story: Trump criticized for mocking a disabled reporter. This is published by the Snopes staff. They do not say it's false. They just say it happened.
They're full of crap. They're full of crap. And it's much like, I don't know. I can't tell if they changed, that they used to be more non-biased and now they've changed just because like everyone in the media has become completely biased and what is that? The Trump derangement syndrome. They've become completely crazy and just want to beat him down at every opportunity, which funny enough makes people like me who did not vote for him and who thought it was the worst thing ever that he was elected, empathize with him more, because I can see how blatantly biased and full of crap they are.
Right.
But so I can't tell if they used to be more unbiased and or if they weren't, if they were always this bad and I just didn't notice because I agreed with them before. I was blind to it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember doing a lot of fact checking on political stuff in the past with Snopes, because I was paying less attention to political stuff. So I would fact check like scientific claims or things. And
I did political fact checking all the time because I had relatives who were on the right who would send me stuff about Obama and, the birther stuff. And so I'd easily go find a Snopes link. Like, that's ridiculous. And,
right.
But I think I was sending Snopes links about when Bush was in office. They were around that long. Always political, but always, even then, I think maybe they always leaned this way. I just didn't notice before.
Probably. I mean, most of the media leans left and has for a long time. I mean, I don't know if you remember when we did the video, what was it? I think it was right after we did the LCD sound system cover where I did the YouTube I Love You, but you're bringing me.
It's so good. Go watch it if you haven't seen it.
When I was looking for photos, I used that photo of the money in the streets of Venezuela, and I wanted to make sure it was real. And I ended up stumbling across a Snopes article which said it labeled it miscaptioned because it says, the claim is that a photograph shows piles of currency thrown in a gutter in Venezuela, money made worthless due to socialism. And Snopes labels it like a big red stop sign, miscaptioned. This is a miscaptioned photo. But what the reason they give for the miscaption, I won't read this whole thing. The reason they give for the miscaption is not that the money isn't Venezuelan, or that it's not recent, or that it's not Venezuelan money in the gutter that is worthless. None of that is the argument. The caption is, well, it might not have been socialism that made it worthless. That's their argument for why this is miscaptioned. So Snopes is clearly biased, and they're only going after Babylon Bee. They're not going after the Onion. I don't know if you remember in I don't know how around you were on the interwebs, but in 2002, the Onion ran an article about Congress threatening to leave DC unless they get a new Capitol building with like a dome that would retract and all this stuff. And I remember at the time there were outlets, I know in China and I think in a few other places, who didn't realize that the Onion was parody and printed this as fact and wrote stories about it in their newspaper about look at the crazy Americans.
That's
This is
amazing.
right. Yeah. And I remember thinking that was hilarious, but I don't think Snopes cares whether or not people believe things that the Onion satirizes. They only care if the people believe things, or not even people believe things. They're just going after the Babylon Bee because it's making fun of sacred cows.
Yeah. Do they do any fact checking of any video clips from any late night talk show?
Right,
Do they they don't have, they're not going after the Daily Show or Samantha Bee or any, because, and people on the left would go, well, of course not, that's satire. I was like, yeah, of course the Babylon Bee is satire. It's like, duh. And if you, and I love the fact that earlier you stated, well, if lots of people believe it's true or could believe it's true, then we have to debunk it. Lots of people don't believe it's true. We all know it's satire. Like, where are all the people who
find some eggs on Twitter?
I'm sure they could find a couple, but that's not lots of people. The average person doesn't read the Babylon Bee and say this is real. They're insulting the intelligence of their own readers. They're insulting the intelligence of people on Facebook, of Americans. And I know they're trying to insult the intelligence of people on the right, but what they're really doing is insulting the intelligence of people on the left.
Well, I mean, the other thing is it's just way more people believe lots of other things that Snopes conveniently does not fact check, right? We talked about the Trump calling all the white nationalists very fine people and all that stuff. They don't. Way more people believe that. Way more people believe stuff that's on the Daily Show. The Daily just you mentioned fake interviews. A lot of people watch the Daily Show interviews and take them as they kind of figured that they're a little bit edited to be funny, but that they kind of still capture the gist of the conversation, which is not true at all. They do like 3 hours of footage and splice together 1 minute, and they make it into anything they want. I've had a friend that was interviewed on the Daily Show. He went in knowing that he was going to be mocked, but he wanted the attention anyway because he was selling art. And I don't know if it helped him or not, but you know, they did like 3 hours of interview with him, and it was like a 60-second piece or something where they just, you know, took answers to the wrong questions and, you know, made it sound like he was answering a different question, or made the same thing and then replayed it as if that was what he was saying. It was, you know. But
it's comedy, it's satire. So yeah, so it doesn't matter. Like the point is they have a double standard about who they will they're not going after comedy on the left. I just want to share something.
Yeah, please.
Because I was just saying, well, lots of people don't believe the Babylon Bee is real. However, I shared this yesterday or the day before. And I just said, finally. And somebody in my comments said, August 2018. Like, you know how people are always fast to be like, you shared an old news article. And I'm like, yeah, does satire get stale?
It's also from the Babylon Bee.
It's also from the Babylon Bee. I don't think that person realized it was parody.
By the way, I do think that's a great idea for Texas.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I think the main point today is just these fact-checking sites like Snopes are not fact-checking sites. They're just as biased, if not more, than everyone else. And the problem is, just like we talked about Google, right? We should repeat this for people who haven't heard it. If you missed Robert Epstein's testimony in front of Congress, Google swayed at least 2.6 million votes towards Hillary Clinton last election. This is a guy who's a 40-year researcher in behavioral psychology. He's been studying this for the past 6.5 years. He's an ardent Hillary Clinton supporter and voted for her. And he says Google swayed the election, tried to sway the election, and threw 2.6 million, at least, votes towards Hillary Clinton in 2016. These places that you, like Google, that you think are objective, like Snopes, they are not objective. And I hate to say it, I don't know who you can trust, because, you know, no one who's claiming to be objective, I think, is actually objective. But a lot of people, I would trust the people who say that they have a bias, because at least you know what it is.
And tell you what it is.
Right.
The site, Snopes is not a fact-checking site. It is a propaganda reinforcing site.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that, I think we can make it a quick episode, Carrie, unless you have anything else to say. No? All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Please like and share. If you're new to the channel, please go check out our videos. We've got interviews with everyone from Megan Murphy to James Lindsay to
Zuby
to Dr. Rachel Brown. Got lots of interesting stuff on
Barbara Kay.
Barbara Kay. So
Samuel Say.
I'm
just going to name the ones that rhyme.
Keep going. Are there more rhymes?
I'm not sure.
If your name rhymes, contact us for an interview.
I also want to say book club. We're doing Unsafe Space book club. We're going to be discussing Brave New World on Sunday, August 4th. And so you still have time to read it. You still have time to listen to it on audiobook, however you want to get caught up. And we hope you'll join us. We'll be doing a video discussion. It should be really fun.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.